it by February. We've got somebody already lined up. I just...
What month is this right now?
Yeah, it's February. Now, listen, if I had somebody lined up, bring them forward. What the hell? I'd be dancing them around City Hall. Here he is. The guy's putting his money up.
He's been waiting around for a couple of years now.
Yeah, so where is this guy? Again, I just...
Well, I think they learned their lesson with Rodney Blackwell. They don't want to introduce him.
Don't even start there.
No tent show, huh?
Are we going to do Talking Racine today?
Yes.
Why don't we, huh?
All right.
George, you in favor?
Let's go for it.
George Myers thinks it's a good idea. And Jim Spodek. You think?
I think so.
I'm out of here. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Jorgen. Welcome back. Well, today we're going to talk about, for one thing, the ransomware that hit the city of Racine, the MIS department, the computer system for the city of Racine. Racine is one of 5 cities in the state of Wisconsin who have gotten hit by this thing, and it's really wreaked havoc on business as usual down there. They haven't screwed anything up for what, a couple of weeks now?
Yeah, it's been tough.
No, but it really has been devastating. I mean, it's
Who's
locked
to blame?
down.
Who are we going to blame?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Gotta be somebody.
Who do you blame? I mean, they're right now on a national basis because this has happened all across the country.
Yeah.
And the suspicion is that some element of the Russian military has gotten involved in computer hacking and basically holding your data hostage. That's what they do. They come in and they encrypt everything so you don't have access to it. And then they say, you give us enough money. And what did they use? It was like, there was one I remember they said you got to deposit 42 bitcoins in an account, blah, blah, blah. And what's a bitcoin? It's like $1,000 or something like that. It was a bunch of money. But I mean,
$10,000.
basically what they do is they extort money, and it's these vulnerable communities like Racine that don't have the resources to fight them. So that's going on now.
Well, listen.
Why did that happen?
Well, I tell you, going back in 2014, one of the aldermen, Eddie Deal, brought up the fact that it should be cloud-based, which is basically take it out, put it somewhere else, instead of having it in-house like the city of Racine does.
Oh, your memory is outside.
Yeah, basically it's a server in-house. Now, I'm hoping to get somebody that can help us, explain a little bit about what happened. So we're hoping to have a guest on in the next couple of weeks, hopefully someone that can come on and talk a little bit more about it.
Well, at the time, I think they probably felt that the idea of a cloud-based storage system was, I don't know if they felt it was unsafe or unnecessarily expensive.
You must have your head in the clouds if you think that's going to work.
Yeah. I mean,
it was so
they had the
Eddie was
opportunity.
just way ahead of the curve.
He was. He was
to
right with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem a lot of times when you have someone, and I know they looked at Eddie like, oh, gee, he's going to ask questions and he's going to create us.
Get him out of here.
Yeah, don't listen to him, please.
No.
But that's the problem. You don't have the questions asked, and I'm not saying that even back in 2014 that council was stellar, but they asked some questions, and you just don't find that now.
Well, it's like talking about air travel while the Wright brothers are still fooling around in their garage.
Yeah.
It just he was too far ahead of it. He could see what was coming. He knew what was.
Anyway.
Well, have we got anybody that can see what needs to be done with this thing? I don't think so. I don't think the personnel down at MIS are able to cope with it. I don't think any municipality is set up where the onboard personnel can really respond to this.
If they're appointing people to their
effectively.
MIS departments like we do, which are politically oriented instead of technologically oriented, they're all going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's people that understand it.
Oh, yeah,
we had an
there's people-
alderman that understood it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just
Get
get
rid of
somebody
him.
that's technological oriented and put him in charge of the and they're around there. But I remember who was it that came up to the finance committee and said for how much money to get the car 25 back on?
Oh yeah, that was Chase Hendricks. Yeah,
a couple thousand, Chase Hendricks.
Well, he said
25 grand.
Yeah, even
There's
for less
people
than
out
forgot what it was.
you
It
could
was
get it
small
up and
yeah,
running
yeah. It
for
was like
$20
20 grand instead of 140,000.
Yeah.
I can get going for 20 grand. But there are technologically oriented people in this town that could be running MIS departments, and they would be putting things in that need to be put in. But what you're going to do politically, people that don't even like Car 25, like.
Well, I think it's a sense of power too. There's a certain amount of. If I have got control, I've got power. And that there's a certain amount of that goes on in politics.
Good luck with dealing it that way with the internet. Yeah. You better,
right.
You better have some reality.
A lot of people with a lot more power.
Yeah.
Well, how about this, guys? The RCCH, Racine Convention Center
That
Hotel.
sounds like a dance.
Yeah, it's a dance, all right.
Like a rock group.
Yeah.
The RCC.
Yeah. They're doing the boogie woogie down there at City Hall. Man, oh man! My question is, what is the benefit to the average citizen taxpayer that is going to be realized from building a hotel down on a festival site?
Now,
I mean, they're going to end up taking over the festival hall. I mean, that's been run into the ground over the last several years. It's been priced off the market, where people in Racine, organizations in Racine, can't afford to utilize it.
The average person doesn't even know it exists.
Yeah.
They're got to be down there.
So they've turned it into basically a wedding venue. Is about the last thing that they've been doing with it. And
festival hall. Yeah, festival park.
yeah, it's just not paying.
Okay,
the
well,
bills.
let's break it down. I mean, because now we're taking a little time and kind of break down this whole thing, because it did come on relatively quick.
Well, Corey said he's been working on this for 3 years.
Well,
they learned to keep it under wraps. They saw
Exactly.
what happened with the arena.
So it didn't
I can
happen overnight.
picture
You
it.
just found out about
Yeah.
it.
exactly.
But how did this come into being? I mean, the impression that I've got from the outside is that this developer, and he's not even a developer. He's like a facilitator.
The broker.
Yeah. He comes into town. You know what would be a great idea for you guys is a convention hotel. What, to serve all of the conventions that we have banging down our doors to try and get in here?
Like the monorail.
Yeah,
We
exactly
need a monorail.
like
The music
monorail.
man, flim flam guy. Yeah.
So they come in again. So
He comes in and he says, you know what would be great? It'd be a hotel. And
But
a convention center. And, and on the other end, he's going around he's shopping the idea to hotel manufacturers, hotel franchises.
right.
You know, I think I got something going.
Got a
over
great
in
deal over
this
here in
town
Racine.
Main Street! Main Street! All those in favor of Grandpa Simpson's plan for rebuilding Main Street, please.
You know, a town with money's a little like the mule with a spinning wheel. No one knows how he got it, and danged if he knows how to use it.
Mule.
The name's Lanley, Lyle Lanley. And I come before you good people tonight with an idea. Probably the greatest... Oh, it's not for you. It's more of a Shelbyville idea.
Now, wait just a minute. We're twice as smart as the people of Shelbyville. Just tell us your idea and we'll vote for it.
All right? I tell you what I'll do. I'll show you my idea. I give you the Springfield Monorail. I've sold monorails to Brockway, Ogdenville, and North Haverbrook, and by gum, it put them on the map. Well, sir, there's nothing on earth like a genuine, bona fide, electrified 6-car monorail. What'd I say?
Monorail.
What's it called?
Monorail.
That's right, monorail.
I hear those things are awfully loud.
It glides as softly as a cloud.
Is there a chance the track could bend?
Not on your life, my Hindu friend.
What about us brain-dead slobs?
You'll be given cushy jobs.
Were you sent here by the devil?
No, good sir, I'm on the level.
The ring came off my pudding can.
Take my penknife, my good man. I swear it's Springfield's only choice. Throw up your hands and raise your voice. What's it called? Once again.
But Main Street's still all cracked and broken. Sorry, Mom. The mob has spoken.
Mono. Don't!
Monorail. I still think we should have spent the money to fix Main Street.
Well, you should have written a song like that guy.
I mean, and he's been in his I think it's gatehouse or whatever, has been doing it in different areas of a part of the country, Texas. Apparently they're on
Las Vegas.
But my thing is, Racine is the typical buyer of it. They're buyers. They're not shoppers. They're buyers. They don't look at the thing into it like a long term. What they do is spend their money to buy. We're just buying. We're not shopping. We're not really looking. We're not taking that money and leveraging that money. We're buying. And so what happens is now $21 million is we're going to spend this taxpayer dollars.
Well, no, wait a minute. Now, I thought it was $21 million myself, and I was wrong. So I owe an apology to the guys that are behind this, because, we looked through the numbers, and in fact, it's $30 million.
Yeah, by the time it's all paid for and whatever.
Yeah, because it'll take 20 years to pay it back, and by the time you pay all the interest and
We don't want to
principal,
underestimate our council members.
yeah, I apologize to you
On-
guys
on
that
their-
are spending
on their
$30 million,
propensity to spend.
making you look like pikers only spending 21.
Don't be insulting them. Only
Yeah.
$20 million.
Okay, so basically they're taking the 21, let's just start out with the fact that there's going to take $21 million and put it toward this convention center or hotel. They're taking $10 million. They're taking all the TIF money out of the TIF 9, which is the Johnson building. So they're going to take all that money over the next 20 from year 22 to year 36. So basically, that TID is completely absorbed
Consumed
by.
this, yeah.
That's right.
By
By
the
the
other one.
TID 9,
But that's-
which is the Johnson buildings, the
Right.
money coming off of that, the taxes that they don't pay into the general fund, that we do pay into the general fund for them,
Correct.
and they take that money that should go into the general fund over to the TID, and that's going into this.
Correct. $3 million from the intergovernmental fund.
Oh, yes, the gift that keeps giving, the
Keeps giving.
intergovernmental fund,
Right,
and
yeah.
that's going to expire in 2033?
3, I think, yeah, 31
Yeah.
or 33. But all the room taxes, now again, all the room taxes from this hotel, and then half of from the other hotel.
Yeah, actually, 85% of that tax will go to the builders or owners of this
I think it's
hotel. The city will
95%,
receive
huh?
85.
Well, no,
Oh, is it
that-
85?
That's
Yeah.
the tax.
Oh, that's it.
We haven't got to the other parts yet, George.
What's the
City will
85%?
receive
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh,
50%
you're
of
talking
any-
about the.
Any room taxes.
Right,
Okay.
room taxes. Now, the other one is the TID. Now, the TID that is,
Oh, wait a minute. I apologize. The 85% is 85% of the revenue off of the parking spaces.
okay, well, then, of course, the parking. You're
The
giving them
money
the
off
parking.
of the new TID,
The new TID all goes
95% of that does go to the
hotel.
building, hotel.
So basically, if just explain a little bit of this TID, that they pay taxes into this TID because it's TID 24. Those taxes are then sent to the city. 95% of that tax dollar that's paid into the city is now given back to that hotel for 12 years. So that TID doesn't even grow. That TID money is actually given back to the hotel. And then, of course, naming rights.
Well, now there's a money opportunity if I ever heard one. Naming rights. How would you like to put your name on the Racine Convention Center?
Now, they're anticipating, give or take, $500,000 a year in naming rights on this.
Oh, I think
hotel.
they're underselling it. I mean, who wouldn't want to pay maybe $1 million and a half?
So
for
hotel
that?
tax, parking spaces, naming rights, room tax, intergovernmental fund, and all the money out of TID 9 is going into this. And the part that is the best is no property tax burden on any kind of city or county taxpayers.
And that is the biggest lie of all. I mean,
It's amazing they can put that
that
in.
they would say that. It's like
It doesn't come out of your right pocket. Your right pocket is your taxes. Your left pocket is,
well, a lot of these
that's
things.
just general available money that can be captured.
Well, like the $3 million intergovernmental fund that could come to us, but it doesn't come to us. It goes over there.
Right.
And the room taxes. It's like somebody going to work in a factory or someplace, on wages, and he has 20% of his wages taken out of taxes, but the government says no, you're not paying that. You never got that in the first place.
Right, it was never
That's
given to you,
yours.
so how can it be
Your
yours?
employer paid that over to the IRS.
Right.
You didn't pay those taxes. So it's that type of thing. In other words, because the taxpayer never got it, never got those room taxes, never got the intergovernmental revenue, never got the money out of the TID 9 from the Johnson building.
Or the parking
Or
meters.
the parking meter. Because they never got it, therefore, this is not a tax burden of any kind. Well, if they would just close all this down, we would have all that additional money. Like the guy in the factory, if he just shut the income taxes down, he'd have all that extra money.
I don't know how do they pull that one off? I mean, how do you go in? I mean, that's almost deceptive. This was given
That's
to
dishonest.
Yeah, it was given to
That's
the
called corruption. It's not illegal, but it's corrupt.
Common Council. Yeah, this was given to the Common Council. So So this is a talking point that was brought up, and I remember one of them. Actually, I can remember one of them saying, "Well, there's no property taxes involved." Well, really?
And that's the holy grail for the city council.
Yeah, I mean,
property taxes.
they don't
and the
even
money just
understand.
magically appears.
Where did this
Let's
21 million?
spend
Well,
it.
now, the last Talking Racine explained how that worked. There's about $500,000. It's probably closer to $750,000 in taxes, by the way. It's $500,000 in city taxes, but there's also county taxes. There's other taxes involved, but there's $750,000 in taxes that the taxpayers are paying for those Johnson buildings.
Right.
Now, if you just close the TID down, the taxpayers would have that much less of a burden to pay. Now, I feel that is tantamount to saying that there is a property tax burden to the people of the city of Racine for these TIDs.
Well, here's another one, George. They're taking out bonding for $21 million. They're taking out bonds, tax-exempt bonds. I'm not quite sure what all bonds are taking, but those bonds are a debt to this community, which is a taxpayer debt. It's not going to be paid by anybody on a
if it's not paid in the private sector, it's a taxpayer's debt, folks. It's one or the other.
The city's debt. The city's debt means taxpayer debt.
That's
Bottom
right.
line.
Well, that's property taxpayer debt.
Yeah, that's why when they say it's not anything to do with
City or
yeah.
well, yeah. In fact, they don't have property taxpayers in there. It just says county taxpayers.
Yeah.
Which includes our income taxes and our sales taxes
Right.
and all the other taxes that we pay.
Well, the cutest part, in my estimation, is a development consisting of a 171-room hotel, full service, branded, likely a Sheraton, is owned by Marriott. Likely. They don't.
There's nobody.
There's no hotel chain
Again,
that is
you've got a
signed in on
broker.
this.
You've got a broker out there right now selling.
Yeah,
he's out there selling this deal.
He's selling this deal to
Yep.
hotel builders
Exactly.
and owners, franchise.
Monorails to Brockway, Ogdenville, and North Haverbrook. And by gum, it put them on the map.
So how does the Sheraton Hotel? What are they? What's their part?
Well, they're just saying it's likely could be a Sheraton. I mean, they don't have a Sheraton. They're saying it's
No, they're just that's a
yeah.
selling point.
Yeah.
Oh, this could be. It's like Doc saying about it could be taxpayers.
right.
Yeah, Cincinnati. When
It's like if you got an old car, maybe you got like a 2010 Kia, and I go to Jim and Jim needs a car, and I go, Jim, I know a great car for you. It's perfect.
Perfect. Exactly.
Absolutely perfect. I can get it for you for $3,000. George, I got a buyer for $2,000 for your car.
Yeah.
That's
really,
how-
my car?
Well, the guy in the middle is making some kind of a
that's,
profit.
well,
you know?
right. That's how this. Yeah,
And
this,
Exactly.
that's how the Flim Flam man makes his money. You know,
Yeah.
he's not really a developer of what you would think of. You're not like you think of somebody coming in with a bunch of money and this type of stuff. He's a coordinator. He's a salesman.
Yeah. Now, somewhere in there, it's a $4 million equity position from the developer from the.
$4.5 million,
Yeah.
and I a dollar to a dime, folks.
Yeah.
That $4.5 million, he's going to be borrowing.
Right.
There's going to be another
Oh, yeah.
another loan.
Here's the
someplace.
thing, though, George.
He's not like Johnson. Well, if Johnson was doing this,
Yeah.
they have $4.5 million in the bank that
Right.
they could sample. Like you do when you put a down payment on your house. You got
Down payment.
$5,000 whatever is in the bank.
Call a bank and you say I need a check for $4.5 million.
Yeah, you don't
But
put
they're
the,
good for
you
it.
don't put the down payment on a credit card. You know, you've got to actually have the equity. That
But
you
here's
look
the
at.
thing with this development here. You still got to sell it. Now, apparently, the word was, we'll have it by February. We've got somebody already lined up. I just...
What month is this right now?
Yeah, it's February. Now, listen, if I had somebody lined up, bring them forward. What the hell? I'd be dancing them around City Hall. Here he is. The guy's putting his money up.
You've been waiting around for a couple of years now.
Yeah, so where is this guy? Again, I just...
Well, I think they learned their lesson with Rodney Blackwell. They don't want to introduce him.
I thought he would start there.
No tent show, huh? Bring him in from Iowa.
I mean, it just...
Don't let him see the guy.
Now, here's a prediction I'm going to make. I think the boutique hotel is going to go because I think Johnson is going to finance it.
They got
Because-
some money.
Yeah, they got the money.
they'll make
It's
sure
going to
it
be, it's the Johnson Boutique Hotel. because it's right across from them. They've got Roger Hill as the designer in the hotel. I mean, all the puzzle pieces are fitting together.
Yeah.
So my guess is that one will probably fly. But that's a Johnson Finance. It's going to be probably a tunnel underground right to the hotel. I mean, it's a perfect, because they're looking at Monument Square. They wanted to have Monument Square redone because you're in a multi-million-dollar building and you're looking at an empty Zons building for 10 years or 20 years. This is a perfect opportunity for them to turn that into a boutique hotel. It fits them. It's all got the environmental, geothermal and the LEED and all that certification. It's a perfect fit for them. So I think that project is probably going to go.
Well,
I mean, that's just a prediction. I'm not saying, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't make many predictions, but that's one I'm going to take a bet on.
I would like to see an inventory of those people who are holding conventions that are looking at Racine as a destination for their convention. What is this? Another one of those build it and they will come projects?
Well, I think that's what. I think they're desperate. I think that's what it is.
Who's they?
The city. I think the city
You're talking
leaders
about the alderman?
Yeah. Well, aldermen. I think the administration. I think Jim Palahniuk has got zero accomplishments.
He's got nothing in his portfolio.
Yeah, where's he going to go? I think Corey Mason wants to make his stamp on something. I think the whole administration, they have this idea that they have to develop. I don't know where that came from in city. Run a city. You don't have to be a developer.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of topsy-turvy from the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
It's supposed to be the aldermen are in charge of the city,
Well,
and all the staff does, and the mayors, is help the aldermen accomplish what they see
what
needs
they're
to be
doing on
accomplished in the
behalf of
city.
the taxpayers.
And they're connected with the individual. For the staff to be doing this, Jim, that's a very interesting observation.
Oh, no,
because it's like
totally
they're the
fair.
one. It's their city, and they're unelected. They don't represent
Right.
anybody. They're just playing this game of whatever game they're playing.
Well, they kowtow to
I build
aldermen
cities.
kowtow to them. I mean, you can
That's
watch
how I make
it.
my $150,000. Get my $3,000 a week check from them.
Oh, I think
I've
there's
never
a lot
had
of-
an alderman ask me, what would I like from the city? What would I like in return
hold
for
your
my
breath.
taxes? I've never had that.
Well, why can't we just
have
run
any
a
of you
city?
had that happen? Has your alderman said, hey, what's your vision for Racine? We're all taking an inventory here. We're all taking a survey. All of us aldermen are trying to find out from the citizens what you would like us to do. Ever had that
Well,
happen?
you'd probably want to say, hey, you know what? Let's pave the alleys. Let's pick up the garbage on a regular basis. Let's trim
That's
the
pretty
trees.
boring, Jim.
Yeah, that's the boring stuff. But that's the stuff.
Turn the
that's what
lights
gets
on
you
in the
done,
tennis court at night
Right.
instead of the street lights?
Right. I mean,
And you know
really
what? We'd
be
probably have
connected.
another $50-100 million in the account too.
Right.
We wouldn't be wasting all this money that
You know,
would
and
come
I
from
think
all over the
there's so much more you can do if you change direction. But we've been on this development. We're going to develop. Developing
silver
is very
bullets is
risky.
what they're
Yeah,
looking at.
silver
The old
bullets.
Lone Ranger thing.
And it's all very risky stuff. When a city goes into it with taxpayer dollars, there's no loss to those individuals that are making those decisions. The
No,
$21 million.
That's the thing that
Skin in
gets
the
you.
game.
Yeah.
And the aldermen, by the time it crashes and burns, they're off somewhere else, and you got a new alderman that doesn't know anything. We've had poor leadership, just terrible leadership in the city of Racine, and it shows in where we are. There's no mystery
Well,
here.
one of the problems is in the wrong place. If what you described is what's going on, and I think you're right. The leadership doesn't belong in the staff.
Yeah.
It really doesn't even belong with the mayor. It belongs with the alderman.
Exactly.
The way it's
But you don't
supposed to
have
be set up.
aldermen, and
They aren't leaders.
No, they're not
They're
leaders.
followers of the mayor. is
Exactly.
what we got.
Well, they're
somehow that
except for three of them. Maybe three.
But where did
four.
that come from, George? I mean, why is it that they come in there? Is this election that they just we set you up to get you elected and then put you in that position so you can just automatically
Support
rubber
the
stamp?
mayor's plan.
Yeah,
And where's the mayor get his plan from?
yeah. Well,
I mean, is he having bad dreams or something?
no, I think there's a lot of ego
you should
involved.
go to a sleep study.
You don't
See-
get into politics because you don't have a big ego. I mean, you have a big ego. I'm going to make great things happen for this community. I'm going to save this community. And what we've seen is this with that type of mentality. Instead of being one that's saying, "Hey, what can I do today for the next generation?" They think about what I can do now to get reelected next time. That's where we're at.
And
Yeah,
that
I agree with you.
doesn't work.
No.
If all you're going to do is
No.
get reelected the next time, what you do is say things that sound good that the people like, instead of looking at
Look what I did.
At the
Look
hard,
what I did.
At the hard.
You brought up
facts
a
and
good
say,
point, George, before the show. You talked about what downtown when we talk about they lined up to come in and discuss this $21 million that the people from the downtown merchants. It's the economic engine of downtown, and that's the future. And you talked about what how selfish they were on the fact that you're burdening a community for.
Well, yeah, when you take $21 million and you divide it amongst 70,000 people or 65,000 people, okay, so it's about 150 bucks a person. Now,
That includes men, women, and children.
that's everybody. All
Yeah.
right, but they're all putting into this $21 million project so that the downtown guy, who's also putting in $150, so he can make $400 that year.
In additional retail sales?
Well, so he gets his $150 back, but he's making the whole community pay for this thing. So he makes his $200 or $300, and that's very selfish. In other words, he shouldn't be just thinking in terms of his business. And I think that's where they caught up. This is going to be good for me, but they're not looking what it's costing the community. And I think it's very selfish of downtown businessmen. And I tell you what, you're losing money on doing it because you need shoppers here. And when you do that to a community, when you sucker them all into a project like this and make them all pay that money, it's the tipping point for some people, and then they have to leave town because they can't make it here anymore. That's how we lose 20,000 people. And that's 20,000 shoppers. And if you're in retail downtown, you need those 25,000 people back. And you aren't going to get it by keeping doing this type of thing, taking money out of their pocket so that you make a couple $100. It just doesn't work. Okay?
Not good. Not good at all.
Not good.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Well, if we get back to the basics of what local government is about, and it basically gets what we just said, streets and alleys and police and fire.
Garbage and water and sewer.
Yeah. Simple stuff like that.
Yeah.
And let the private sector come in. Like Johnson's is a real good example. I mean, when they put up their buildings there along 14th Street, the stuff on Main Street, they didn't need a TID to do that. And when they put stuff up like that and it contributes to the overall property values, then our taxes stay where they are or go down a little bit. And then more people can come in and do the same thing. If you just let it go instead of doing all this double taxation, so that a few bureaucrats can have something on their
resume,
so that they can get fired and go to another town, like old Palahniuk does. He gets fired from every job, and then he's got another one that he goes running to.
We'll be keeping an eye on this hotel project, and you guys keep an eye on us, okay? We'll be here again next Monday. We hope you come back and join us. Thank you.